Hey Shark fans, it's Melinda Marsalis. Welcome to Heard It on the Shark. I'll be your show host, and Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area is your show sponsor. Heard It on the Shark is a weekly interview show that airs every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on the Shark 102.3 FM radio station based in Ripley, Mississippi. Then it's released as a podcast on all the major podcast platforms. You'll hear interviews with the movers and shakers in North Mississippi who are making things happen. I'll talk to entrepreneurs, leaders of business, medicine, education, and the people behind all the amazing things happening in North Mississippi. When people ask you, how did you know about that? You'll say, I heard it on the Shark. Heard It on the Shark is brought to you by the Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area. We want you to get out and discover the historic, cultural, natural, scenic, and recreational treasures of the Mississippi Hills that are right in your backyard. And of course, we want you to take the Shark 102.3 FM along for the ride. Musical credit belongs to Hill Country Blues guitar legend Gary Burnside and the late great Buddy Grisham, playing Long Way Home from their album Acoustic Brothers, which was recorded at Sun Bear Studio in Ripley, Mississippi.
This program was recorded at Sun Bear Studio in Ripley, Mississippi.
Hey Shark fans, it's Melinda with another episode of Heard It on the Shark, and this one is super special. Happy Christmas Eve to all of you. I am super excited to say that I am sitting in Sun Bear Studio with Santa Claus.
So happy to be here. It's a very exciting time.
Santa, is this our third interview?
Yes, I've had such a good time talking to you on the Shark that I thought I would come back and visit one more time.
But never before have we talked on the actual Christmas Eve.
I know. We've let the excitement build, and here we are.
Now, I'm surprised that you even have time for me. Or did you get ahead of schedule and you just had a little bit of time to stop by?
Well, you know, I've talked before about my special sleigh and how I'm able to stop time and do what I need to do when I need to do it. So I'm currently idling and pausing my time, so I have plenty of time to talk to you.
Your reindeer up on the roof, I can hear their paws clickety-clacking.
Oh, yes. They are very antsy this time of year. They're ready to go.
So it's 11 o'clock now. That means I guess you got to get started and you'll deliver gifts all through the night?
That's right.
I do want to ask you, because sometimes I know kids wonder, and I used to wonder when I was a kid, about how you get into people's homes when they don't have a fireplace. Because in all the books, you come down the chimney, but what if you don't have a chimney?
Yes, that's a very popular question I get asked a lot. And of course, the traditional going down the chimney, that's still my favorite way to travel. But, you know, Santa's got several magic things about him, and one of those is I'm able to get into your house whatever way that I'm invited by the parents. I can go through a window if you leave the window cracked, or if it's too cold to do that, I can just come right through the front door.
Okay, and Santa, I've got a new question for you this year. Is the Grinch real?
Oh, yes. The major part of Santa Claus and his magic is the belief and the spirit that brings around Christmas time. And, of course, for every strong belief, there are weak beliefs or even the absence of belief. And the Grinch is a big part of that absence of belief. And so as long as anyone believes in Santa, you have to have the Grinch there to offset some of those beliefs. So, yes, the Grinch is very real, and I'm afraid you might meet several Grinches in your day-to-day life getting ready for Christmas. But you just have to smile at them and try to share the warmth of Christmas to bring them over to the good side.
What was your favorite toy to make this year?
Oh, there have been so many good toys this year and very creative, but I always go back to the traditional and the classics, and I love making dolls, because when I get the letters from the little girls and even little boys who want a doll, they put their dreams and their ideas into those letters, and I can sort of see what is desired by the kids. And there's such a wide variety of dolls that are requested out there, and I like to personalize those requests and build those dolls. So those are usually my favorite.
Oh, yeah, like the dolls that if it's supposed to look like the person who it's going to, and it's got the red hair because the girl has red hair,
exactly,
or freckles or whatever.
Yes,
like
those
that.
are getting very popular, yes.
Now, you just said about letters. What if there's somebody listening today and it's Christmas Eve and they forgot to write their letter?
Oh, well, yes, it is Christmas Eve, so it might be a little too late to get it in the mail. But if you talk to me at the mall or at one of your local shops, you know, that's one way I get my messages. I also have email. You can send an email to santa@thenorthpole.com. You can tell your parents, and they have a special phone number they can call me if it's the last minute, and I can get those gifts in.
Maybe they could write their wishes on their letter to you. You know how a lot of people leave a letter to you with the cookies, and they can maybe write P.S. I forgot to ask for.
Yes, that's a good idea, Melinda. I do appreciate that suggestion. Yes, because I can control time. If you have something very important to you that you need to get on that list, you write that, and I'll stop time, go to the North Pole, and get that taken care of.
Do you still like to get cookies?
Oh, yes. As you can tell by looking at me in my belly like a bowl full of jelly, I eat as many cookies as they put in front of me.
So we should leave Santa some cookies. And do you still like milk?
Yes. Always love a glass of milk, tall, and the colder the better, yes.
And for your reindeer, no glitter. I've seen some glitter things with reindeer, but no glitter, just maybe carrots, oats.
I have several elves dedicated to cleaning up if you get glitter, but let's try to avoid that if at all possible. Yes, carrots, oats, and if you really, really want to give them a treat, they love an Oreo.
An Oreo?
Oreos, yes, those are their favorites.
Okay, I'll have to remember that. Oreos for the reindeer. Now, Santa, inevitably, there's going to be some disappointment on Christmas morning. There's going to be some things that you don't get for Christmas that you really asked for and you really wanted, and they aren't there. Can you tell us how to think about that?
Yes, that's a very common question as well. And as I've said before, once upon a time, I like to try to give kids everything they ask for. But then we ran into a lot of problems because we run out of room, and there are a lot of things that you may think you want now, but later on things change and they're not quite as welcome as they were when they started. And so I like to remind children that part of the joy and the magic of Christmas is the wishing and the wanting and thinking about things that might be nice. But part of my magic is I look at the future and the way things are now, and maybe you'll get a few things that you need more than what you want. And also there may be other children who don't get everything they want, and we don't want to make them feel sad around Christmas time. So there are a lot of things that go into the decisions for what a child gets for Christmas, and I just want them to remember that the joy is in the family and the wishing and the wanting and the love that comes around Christmas time. So think about that more often than the toys or the things you might ask for.
Now, Santa, you're not just a Santa for America, you're a Santa for the whole world. Is there a country that you particularly like to deliver?
Oh, I love all children all around the world, everywhere I go. But there is one thing, the Christmas trees in Germany are very beautiful when you get up in the Alps and the snow's falling on those. I do love flying over the Alps in Germany, but when it comes to the children and delivering toys, I love them all.
Santa, if you could get one gift under the tree for Christmas, what would it be?
Oh, I go through my boots very quickly, so I always like to get a new pair of shiny black boots every year, and that's a very practical gift, but it's something I really need because Santa wants comfortable and warm feet, and that's a very important thing going around the world every year, that my feet are comfortable.
Do you wear stripy socks, or do you wear are there elves on your socks? What do your socks look like?
Well, that's a secret, Melinda. I don't know that I should tell you that, but I guess since we've become such good friends, I can let you know that I have peppermint candy cane striped socks that are my favorites, and those are the ones that I'm wearing tonight because it is my busiest night of the year, and those are very special to me.
Does Mrs. Claus, do you guys exchange gifts?
Oh, yes. I've told you before that she writes a poem for me every year, and that poem's based on some of the experiences we've had throughout the year and some of our memories together, and it is a very, very special thing she does for me. And I like to give her things that are shiny and bright. Those make her very, very happy, and you know what they say, a happy wife, a happy life, and I have to keep Mrs. Claus very happy.
Now, Santa, I don't think I've ever asked you this before, but the very next holiday after Christmas is, in the United States anyway, is New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Do you and Mrs. Claus go out for New Year's Eve, or do you like to stay home and have a nice little quiet time by the fire?
Well, there's never really a quiet time at the North Pole with all the elves and the reindeer running around, but we do stay around the North Pole. But we have our own little parties there. We celebrate the end of the year and the accomplishments that we've done together, and the elves always keep us very well entertained.
I know that the last couple of years you've kind of told me that maybe I almost made the naughty list, but that I just barely made the nice list. So what about this year? How am I doing so far?
Well, Melinda, that's part of the reason I've come to visit, because ever since I've been visiting you, you've really stepped it up. And I think just meeting me in person and talking has made you feel very responsible for that naughty and nice list. And I want to make sure that you keep continuing that pattern. So here I am again to keep you on the right way.
It does seem to help. Ever since I met you the first time, I've really tried to up my game and be nice all year long.
Yes, and I think everyone is very grateful for that.
Santa, okay, one last question for you. What do you listen to in your sleigh?
In the recent years, I've actually got into listening to podcasts, and I do enjoy listening to your podcast from time to time. Heard it on the Shark. Christmas music is good all year round, and that is definitely one of my direct go-tos.
Do you ever listen to our Shark music? Sometimes when you're over the top of Mississippi, you listen to that good old classic rock.
In this area, that is a number one favorite on Santa's sleigh, for sure.
Santa, thank you so much for coming by. I know especially today on Christmas Eve, you're very busy, and I really do appreciate you stopping by to see me. I'll be leaving some chocolate chip cookies and milk out for you tonight, and I wish you the best and safe travels.
Thank you very much, and I look forward to those cookies. You have a Merry Christmas. Ho, 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 ho.
Okay, Shark fans, that's it for this very special edition of Heard It on the Shark. Tune in every Tuesday at 11 a.m. to find out what's happening with our community leaders. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion for an interview, or if you want access to this Santa Claus interview, go to our website, shark1023.com, and click on the podcast tab. Keep it tuned to the Shark 1023 and have a great Christmas and a great rest of the day.
The Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area was established by the United States Congress in 2009 and represents a distinctive cultural landscape shaped by the dynamic intersection of Appalachian and Delta cultures. This intersection has produced a powerful concentration of nationally significant cultural icons, including King of Rock and Roll Elvis Presley, First Lady of Country Music Tammy Wynette, blues legend Howlin' Wolf, civil rights icons Ida B. Wells Barnett and James Meredith, America's favorite playwright Tennessee Williams, and Nobel laureate William Faulkner. The stories of the Mississippi Hills are many and powerful, from music and literature to Native American and African American heritage to the Civil War. The Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area supports the local institutions that preserve and share Northeast Mississippi's rich heritage. Begin your discovery of the historic, cultural, natural, scenic, and recreational treasures of our region by visiting the Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area online at MississippiHills.org.
This show is made possible by JC Media, LLC in Ripley, Mississippi. JC Media owns the Shark 102.3 Classic Rock FM radio station where the show is hosted, and Sun Bear Recording Studio where the interviews are recorded. We need your feedback and support. If you listen to the podcast on a player like iTunes, Google Podcasts, or Amazon Music, please subscribe to the show and leave us a review. We also have an email in which you can share your feedback. That email is theshark1023@gmail.com. Subscribe to our podcast on your favorite app or stream episodes online at shark1023.com/podcasts. Today's episode was produced by Melinda Marsalis. It was edited by Rick Williams and engineered by Chris Marsalis. The podcast technician is Joyce Grady.